Good morning everyone, welcome back to Corey Adamson Real Estate. I am Corey Adamson. If you're new here, thanks so much for tuning in. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, then you'll stay up to date with all my videos going forward. Another pretty big day today. We start off, we've got an 8:30 appraisal, then a 9:30 viewing. But before that, most essential part of the day, 1, my breakfast, and 2, taking my dog for a walk. Hey everyone, before we get into today's video, I thought I'd just do a little disclaimer, kind of a channel disclaimer. So with the channel, I don't want it to be like a vlog type of lifestyle channel. To be honest, there's a lot better creators out there than me. So my angle is going to be really about things I've learned in my 18 months of real estate and how they can reflect to you as a new person in real estate or somebody looking to either buy or sell a property. So it's going to be around that, around the agent and around the consumer. Not so much about, the big blingy lifestyle and all of that. The property tours are going to be really good. Properties of Perth, my new series, that's going to be like that. But day-to-day type of stuff, it's going to be less vloggy. It's still going to be a vlog aspect, but less vloggy and more informative to you about things that I've learned in this journey. Right everyone, so I'm going to break the video up into 2 parts. First part is going to be for the consumer, so somebody looking to sell their property, what they should expect, this is more for them. The next part of the video, I'll do a little bit later, that's going to be for the agent. So if you're a new agent into the industry, you're trying to crack in, bit of advice for that. So the question today is, in 2019, do you need to use or do you need to be a local real estate agent? So first of all, what is a local real estate agent? It's going to be the real estate agent that only sells in a certain area. So say right now I'm in a property in Mount Hawthorn, I've got here early for a viewing. We are local to this area, I've got a lot of properties in this area. So those agents are the ones you see on bus stop signs, you see in letterbox drops, they do events around the area. That's a local agent to the area. Anyone outside of that, if they're selling in that area, they're probably not going to be your local agents. So the ones that you never see, but somehow a sign pops up, their face is on it, and they've got a property in the area. So that's what they are. Local agents, for the sellers, they'll harp on 3 main points. Those main points are database that they've got, local knowledge that they've acquired over the years, and other listings. So I'll kind of go through, break down those 3 points on why they're not too relevant in 2019. So the first one is database. Every real estate agent out there, and I'm sure people hate that I'm making this video, talks about their database. And believe me, the database is real. Real estate agents have databases that they've built up over years. But if anyone's database was so strong that it completely cuts out any other media, any other real estate advertising, any other agents, they would just tell you, hey, okay, I'll come in, appraise your house, have a look around, put it to my database of X thousand people. So I know I've got a database of about 4,000 right now, and I'm 18 months in. Guys who I work with, been in for a long time, they've got databases of 20, 30, 40,000. So it's all relevant to how long you've been in the industry. But saying that, most agents can't go straight to their database with your property and just say, listen, I've got this property, it's 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom in your area, do you want to buy it? And somebody jumps out of it and goes, yeah, that's what I want to do. In saying that, it does happen. We've done it ourselves in Wembley, 108 Essex Street. We put that out just to our database and sold the property. So it does happen, but it's not as common. If it were as common, there'd be no need for, in Australia we use realestate.com, domain.com.au. those types of sites, there'd be absolutely no point for those. So while databases are great and they do have qualified buyers, you're missing a whole market if you choose to only go database only. So one, it gives you less of a chance to sell your property, and two, if you do sell your property, it gives you less of a chance to get that higher price point. You know, realistically, the more people through your property, the more engagement you've had, the more competition you can create, the more money you're going to get for your property. So that's why I just don't think database is a good enough reason to use somebody who is purely local. It does help. Believe me, I'm not saying it doesn't help. I'm trying to build one myself. Everybody else in the industry builds one as well, but it's not the be all and end all. Number two would be local knowledge. This one's kind of funny. So local knowledge, if you give me 30 minutes on Google and a brand new suburb I've never heard of, I could probably get up to scratch with local knowledge. I could find out where the hotspots are to hang out, where the cafes are, what are the good schools, and what schools are, you know, the ones that people want to buy in that area for. So while it is great, you may know, owners of cafes. So I'm from Scarborough, you would have seen that earlier in the video. I know owners of cafes there, I know the owners of the surf store, all of that type of thing. While that is great, that's not why people buy houses. So as long as you're up to speed with the questions they're going to ask, council regulations, where are the cafes, where are the schools, all of that, you can bluff your way through local knowledge as good as anyone. Once again, awesome to have the local knowledge, not knocking on anyone who does have local knowledge in the area, but not the be all and end all for this type of thing in 2019. Phones and internet have just absolutely spoiled us for everything, You could go to a suburb you've never heard of, found out what the highest rated restaurants are, where the local library is, where the nightclubs are, where whatever it is, you can find that out in 5 seconds. So it doesn't take a genius to find out what people like in a suburb and how to advertise around that. And then last one that the local agents will always talk about is other listings in the area. And now this one, completely agree with. So once again, I said I'm in Mount Hawthorn right now. We've got 5 properties in Mount Hawthorn. Other listings that I have brought the person that I'm taking through here today to the property. They came through my one at 28 Sass Avenue. Then they came through my one on Fairfield Street, number 70. Didn't like either of those. They had a bit more of a budget to play with, so I said, why don't you come look at 84 Dunedin Street? So we teed up a time. They're meeting here in about 20 minutes, and that's how you do that. So best way possible, if you are in an area, you can flick through listings like that. Just be aware that a local agent will also do that with your property, which is great. At least they've got people in there creating a conversation, but if they don't like your property, they'll then try to take them through another one. It's how you service clients, and it's the way it is. So that one I completely agree with. So all in all, as a seller right now, I just don't think you need to have a local agent. So personally, I've sold a lot of houses in the areas I like to work in, Mount Hawthorn, Scarborough. I've also sold a lot of houses away from those areas that have got unbelievable results, and not being a local agent. I've had local agents call me saying, how'd you get that listing? All of that stuff. But yeah, I just don't think in this day and age with social media the way it is, Google the way it is, all of that stuff, you just don't need a local agent. Alright everyone, so part 2 of the video is going to be about people who are new into the industry, so real estate agents, not unlike myself. I've obviously been in for 18 months now, but if you're fresh in the industry, you're going to get a lot of people telling you a lot of different things, and a lot of those people are going to be experienced real estate agents who have been in the industry for a long time and in a specific area for a long time, pretty much since they started. So the question for new real estate agents is, should I become a local agent? Now this is a kind of 2-part thing. First of all, I think 100%, everyone's goal should be to dominate an area. Whether that's a suburb in specific, a portion of a suburb if they're bigger suburbs, or a school catchment, which in Australia, especially Perth, is really important. That should be your goal. You want to be the agent that people know in those areas. So for myself, once again, Scarborough, that's the area that I'm really trying to crack into. Right now I've got 5 or 6 listings in Scarborough, but when I first started out, I had none. So that brings me to the main point here. You need income. So there's no point turning down listings that aren't in your area purely because it's in areas you don't want to work. I don't know how many of you have tried living on no income at all. In sales roles like this, we're on commission, so you don't get a salary. You're on commission. That's how you make your money. So you need income. Doesn't matter where it comes from. Money's money, and that's how you make it. So if you're just focused on one area from the start, realistically, your first listing is going to be from maybe a friend, a family member, a referral like that. And more often than not, they're not going to live in the area you want to be selling in. I take it back to my very first listing. So I got a listing from a referral out in a place south, so I live north. It was about an hour and 20 minutes from where I live, a suburb I'd never actually been to before, Atwell. I knew absolutely nothing about it. The property was a $500,000 house, pretty run down, not the greatest property, needed a lot of work, so it was going to be a tough sale as it is. I took that property on. Little did I know it was going to take 280 days to sell it for $500,000. At the time of that, I think it worked out to be $1,400 in my pocket at the end of that for all of that work. But reflecting on it, there's no way I would have changed my opinion and not taken on that property, purely for experience. So the money on that side of things, I probably spent more money in petrol driving to that property than I have made, but experience-wise, it was probably the best learning property I'd had this whole time. The first time I'd ever managed vendors, so spoken to my owners, told them how it's going, why it's not selling, why it's been 200 and something days. What can we do? This property was on the market for 6 months before I even got to it as well. So their stress levels were obviously really high, and I had to learn how to manage that. Taught me how to manage buyers, people coming through, picking out negatives in this property that, it was run down, but I didn't think it was that bad. How I could swing them into positives or just things that, give them a solution going forward. And then also it taught me about sales strategies. So with that property, we did an auction. Not one person came to the auction. It's not a big auction area, but we felt it was necessary to do that. We did an auction, it didn't sell. We then did a set date sale, it didn't sell. We put a price on that property and it went on for 200 plus days. Took it off the market, we were going to give it a rest. After that, I'd sent out a massive text, email to everyone that had been through, which wasn't too many people. And one guy ended up buying it, Shannon. He called me up, he goes, hey, we're still interested, would they take this? And it was $10,000 less than, their bottom price. So $490,000 he offered. We ended up getting this deal done, and I sold that property at $490,000, 287 days, I believe. I'll try to chuck it up on the screen after listing it. But the things I learned in that property, I learned how to do a stock take, I learned how to do a final inspection, I learned about the codes in the area, and just things like that. I didn't want to work in that area. I haven't got a listing in that area since, but that was still business. The only way in real estate you're going to learn is by experience, getting through properties, selling properties. I know when, even I look at $1 million listing, I watch Ryan Serhan's vlogs on YouTube, and he's selling $40 million properties. I want to be that guy. That's what I want to do, but realistically, who's going to give somebody that's never sold a house before their property worth $1 million, $2 million, $40 million? It just doesn't happen. So you need as much experience as possible. Now, some 50 odd sales later, I've got the luxury of, saying no to those properties that are an hour and 20 minutes away, because I've built up myself in an area, more like 2 or 3 areas. But now I've got the luxury to do that. But once again, wouldn't change how I went about that for anything. Once again, back to bringing on business as a new rep. My best sale to date, I like to call it, just because it was something that meant a lot to me. I sold my wife's parents' house in Kelmscott. So the suburb is Kelmscott. Average sale price for Kelmscott is $300,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, which theirs was. Average days on market is over 80. So with that one, people were saying, oh, do you want to sell in Kelmscott? They hadn't seen the house. This was an unbelievable house in Kelmscott, but still taking it on, it was a risk. It's my time that I have to be out there. It was still an hour away from our office and an hour away from all of my home opens. But I felt confident taking it on. I wanted that experience and I wanted to run this campaign. We launched that property on realestate.com and on Facebook. On Facebook, it reached over 80,000 people. It was one of the most popular properties I'd ever had. We did 2 home opens, had nearly 50 people through 2 home opens. So I only had to drive to this property twice out of the whole campaign. We ended up selling it in 15 days to a cash buyer for $820,000. So $520,000 over the average sale price in the area. We also, completely smashed the days on market, and we actually set a record for a 3x2 house in Kelmscott. So once again, awesome house. But now I've met all of these people. The people that bought the property, they needed to sell their other property, which was a $2.2 million property in Mount Pleasant. So this is the thing, the people you meet along the way, you may not link this up, but everybody has a sister, an auntie, a cousin, an uncle who's got a property in an affluent area that you would love to get your hands on. But unless you meet them, you've got no way of getting that business. So if you do, you take on these clients in areas you don't necessarily want to work in, but if you do it well, you meet the right people and you just treat them, how they should be treated essentially, you can then leave an impact on these people to have them refer you on to their friends. So if you take care of buyers as they come through, if you take care of sellers, they're going to refer you. There's nothing more powerful than referrals in this industry. So while you're trying to build up getting your own area, take on business, take on business in other places. It's the best way to learn, and it's income. So obviously you need to learn, you need to get income. So from that property, I think I made $20,000. $20,000 for 2 drives for an hour. So, 2 hours work, essentially. I know it's a lot more, but in these terms, 2 hours work, $10,000 an hour. There's not many jobs that you wouldn't take for that. And obviously that's no money out of my own pocket. So all the marketing's paid by the owners. Everything is done. All I had to do was open the property, meet some people, be a good guy, and get the property sold. The main reason though that you do want to dominate an area is so you can be known in that area. So there's an old saying that listings bring listings, and it couldn't be more true. So if you drive down a street and you see the same guy's face or name on a whole bunch of signs and you own a house in that area, you're at least going to give him a call. Whether he or she is selling your house or you even like them, you're going to call them because you know they're in the area. So if you've got 5 listings within the space of a kilometre, people are going to walk past and oh, Corey Adamson's on that sign, Corey Adamson's on that sign. And keep doing that, and then they'll go, well, why don't we just see what he thinks about our property? Whether I get that listing or not is nothing. That's up to my listing presentation, me convincing them that I'm the right agent for them. But to get in the door, that's the hardest thing in real estate, getting the appraisals. But once you've done your appraisal, if you've been a good person about it, you've shown them, results, your hard work, all of that, you can light up their house on social media, you can just bring something that other agents can't, then, you're good to go, you're golden. But to get to that point, you need to be in the property. So, all in all, guys, we'll wrap this up. 1, I don't think you need to use a local agent, but they do have their benefits. And 2, I think you definitely want to become a local agent, but don't let that override your capacity to make money. I don't think there's any benefit, especially starting out, in turning down properties not in your area just for the sake of, I don't want to work in that area. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Once again, feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, drop a like if you can, and look forward to making some more content.